Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The SNP have been told that they've got to reduce train fares in Scotland. They said there's no other option. If you want people to use the trains and get out of cars, you've got to encourage people into trains by having reasonable prices. If the cost of going from, say, Glasgow to Edinburgh is sufficiently high that it's cheaper to take the car, then people are going to take the car. So imagine how embarrassing it must be that if you want to get to Edinburgh, it's cheaper to fly there from London than it is to take the train from Glasgow. Now, it ain't that far a distance, Glasgow, is it, from Edinburgh? Straight line. And the train tends to do a straight line. Indeed, there's a single train route that goes all the way across. I believe there's an express one that does it in just over an hour. I think there's a couple of stops on the way. Takes about an hour. So why is it I can get on a plane at Gatwick, fly to Edinburgh, and be in the hotel in Edinburgh in just about the same amount of time for about £20 less? It's this kind of thinking that really annoys me. It's the genius that is the SNP. Oh, yes. We want to clamp down on cars. We don't want people driving cars. We've got public transport. Everyone's got to take public transport. And is public transport cheap and convenient? No, it's inconvenient and expensive. Think I'll stick with a car then. Trains are great if you want to get to a city, But what do you do if you're in the arse end of beyond and you turn up and there's not even a taxi stand? And this is the problem. There's no integration. What you need is an integrated, but above all, cheap public transport system. Have maximum fare costs. Have no peak. Let travel happen when people want to travel, all at the same rate. If we're starting again, would fire every train driver. I would hire them all back and say, here's how it works. You get paid £100 a day, or £100 a shift, an 8-hour shift. You get paid £100 an 8-hour shift. And that's it, and see if they want the job. And if they don't want the job, fine. Some of them will take it. Bring the price down. Bring the cost down. Do you know when they built Docklands Light Railway, they deliberately, and this was in the banks, because the banks were funding this. This is why it became a light railway and not a full railway, is the banks did not want to pay for a full railway. So we'll put a light railway in, and they put this in, boom, 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 boom. And they put the Docklands Light Railway in, and it cost quite a bit to start with. The initial cost was high. More than paid for itself, of course. But to use it, it's actually quite a low-cost fare to use it. It's only a couple of pounds. And you go all the way around and everything for ages because it's a brilliantly thought out and ticketed system. Here's the other thing. There's no drivers on the trains. They're all automated. There's a small office, and they monitor everything from this office. They have the tech guys there. They have the railway guys there. They've got the switch pointers and all this. It's all in the office, all electronically computer controlled. They just sit there, a couple of people. No train drivers means no train driver strikes. No strikes over pay. No strikes over terms and conditions. No train drivers. Oh, God, can you imagine? Can you imagine running an entire national rail system? No drivers. Super. Can you imagine? It's super. They'd always work. There'd never be strikes. The savings could be passed on in the form of very, very much lower train fares, as it should be. If ever anyone has been to Switzerland, their public sector or their public transport system is probably one of the best in the world. You get on the bus arrives at the train station, and the train leaves 20 minutes later, 10 minutes later. The train never leaves before the bus gets there. And the bus always gets there on time. Oh, and if you go to Geneva, you have this huge station, the Bahnhof. You have the trains there. Some are end-of-line trains that go off that way. Some are end-of-line trains that go off that way. Some are through trains that go all the way through. Geniusly big, wonderful thing. They have a tram system that comes in. And you have the bus station that goes in on the other side. Then you have this huge car parking thing. So you come in, people get dropped off for taxis and things, and away they go. Somebody spent a long time figuring all this out and doing all the timetables. And so when you want to go here, there, It's amazing what happens when you put brains into a project. Better than that, though, the fares are tiny. Honestly, they're massively, massively tiny. They're tinily massive. They are a very low fare. It's something like fixed rate fares. So you get on the bus and you get your ticket. You just tap the machine as you go in with your ticket, or your card rather. Tap, you go in. Tap when you go out. It takes it off wherever. But it's 50 cents, 80 cents. You know, go a long way. Oh, $1.50. Euro 50. Right, fine. You're at the train station. Boom. You get on the train when you go, pum, in, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to go to Zurich. Well, from Geneva to Zurich, and it might only be €8. The same thing over here, you'd be talking €100 or £100. You know, cheap, massively subsidised. Genius, clean, reliable, punctual. That's how you run a train system. This is the Swiss. Works like clockwork. Germany's much the same. The German trams, they come in within 10 to 15 seconds, either early or late. And if they're early, they wait. And if they're late, they'll boom, boom, and they'll make it up, not by loitering at the stations. They go slightly faster along. They've got an allowance. But they turn up between 10 and 15 seconds of the published time at every stop. If Germans can do it and the Swiss can do it, why can we not do it? I'll tell you why. Unions, mainly. A lack of political impetus, the horrifying thought of actually spending taxpayers' money, giving something back to the taxpayer in the form of lower fares, because, you know, got to pay for those immigrants somehow. And the whole system creaks and falls apart. So let's let it fall apart. Let's start from scratch. And Scotland is a perfect, ideal test bed for it. Get rid of all the existing trains, put driverless trains in, get rid of them, and get cheap fares. Encourage people to use fares and integrate, like London Transport, integrate the buses, the coaches, the taxis, the trains, integrate them all and have them cheap. Tell people to leave the cars at home. And if they know that they can go from their home, get a small bus ride to the train station, the train down to Glasgow, a bus on the other end of Glasgow, and so forth, and it's all there, it's all regular, it's all timed out, and you know that the set cost is that. It doesn't matter whether you're going at 2 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Doesn't matter. Same fare. People know, and people will use it. But when it's cheaper to fly from London to Edinburgh than it is to get a train from Glasgow to Edinburgh, and it's quicker, you know the system is deeply flawed. Thanks very much.